Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. Man. I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with this hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil inside the HBCU Sports Lab, the Indy Report, episode 613. I hope you guys are having a great week. We're halfway through the week right now. We're going to talk about some A&T sports. We'll talk about some SWAC as well, and we'll get into a couple topics. I should have some co-hosts later on in the show. So when they make it, they'll come on in. So let's get to it. Welcome to episode 613 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast, the show that's covering the sporting HBCU diaspora, all things HBCU sports for institutions large and small, from the NAIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture and HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU's athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. I'm your host, David Rhodes. Along with my co-hosts who are currently on assignment, Brandon King, Tariq Wilson, and Jeffery Johnson. We are filming our home studios and sending the signal live to our KCOH 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer Ralph Cooper in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. So couple news stories that sparked my interest this week. One, I guess the contract for Michael Vick came out. I guess his contract is $400,000 a year. And there's a lot of bonuses involved with those incentives with regards to his contract. My personal perspective with regards to that is it's expected. Not shocked by what he's making. I think people as a whole shouldn't be too concerned about what he's making too. But I know that's always a debate. I know that some people in the conference should feel a way about it, but every institution has different circumstances about what they can pay their coaches and what they feel like coaches are worth. And I think the appeal of Michael Vick and the status of him, he's still working at Fox Sports right now, so he's giving a lot of publicity to Norfolk State's football program that you kind of can't buy from that aspect. So I think well worth the dollars that they're paying him. He's got some interesting bonus in there. I guess there's a bonus if he wins the FCS championship, and there's a bonus if he wins the Celebration Bowl. So it was a fascinating thing to see, to say the least. Another news story that caught my interest is a track and field story. Shout out to the A&T Aggies, the CAA Indoor Track and Field Weekly Awards for this week for January 14th. We had three Aggies take 4 of the award. Three Aggies took 3 out of the 4 awards that they give. Women's Track Athlete of the Week, Women's Field Athlete of the Week, and Men's Track Athlete of the Week all went to Aggies this week. So I wanted to shout out to Lishanya Weaver. I hope I didn't kill your name too bad. Julia Nosu and Jason Holmes. Luciana competed in the Gamecock opener on Saturday, winning the 60-meter hurdles in her season debut. She posted a time of 8.2 that not only ranks first in the conference, but 5th in the nation. So shout out to Miss Weaver for that outstanding performance at the Gamecock opener last weekend. Julia won the shot put event at the Gamecock opener with the throw of 15.85 meters. The distance ranks first in the conference and 20th in the nation, marking her 4th indoor shot put career win in style. So shout out to her as well. And we got Big Reek coming in here. What's going on, Tariq? I'm just going over some. How you doing, man? I'm just going over some news stories real fast. So we're going over the CAA track athletes of the week, track and field athletes of the week. A&T had 3, so I wanted to shout those guys out, and of course, guys and gals out. And Jason Holmes was the men's track athlete of the week. He won the 200-meter and the 60-meter hurdle event at the Gamecock opener with the time of 21.01 in the 200-meter, and he was shy of his career best time that currently places him 2nd in the nation. and he ran a 7.64 pace in the 60-meter hurdles, matching his personal bank and ranking him first in the conference and NCAA Division I. So we got some, like, I know there's been talks about A&T's track programs taking a lull, but I think we're building here. We're working. We're gonna have some guys. We got a possibility we might have some guys and gals that qualify for the NCAAs. But welcome, Tariq. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. It's just a long day, man.
You ain't got
Days.
you do not have to tell me today.
God.
I
That's why
work
I'm
from
late. That's I'm on CP time.
I work from home today, and I guess there was an email that flew out last night that required a lot of change. And when it comes to change is hard.
Yeah.
So I had plans of what I was going to do today. That got shattered as soon as I logged in at 7 a.m. this morning.
Oh man, yeah. Just if I had to complain, so my calls started at 8 o'clock, and then my kid had an orthodontist appointment at 8 o'clock. So I'm on the phone while he's in orthodontist. So it just started out wild, and it's been wild until about an hour ago. So, but I'm here.
I'm glad you're here.
Pirates. Yeah, man.
I'm glad you're here. Any news clippings that sparked your interest this week? I mean, I talked about Vic's contract, as well.
No, what'd you think about that? I'm sorry I missed that conversation.
I thought it was a cool amount, man. Like, I mean, I'm not shocked with what Vic is gonna make. Like, I mean, there was an interest on both sides, obviously, but you knew he was gonna probably be among the highest in the conference, and probably I don't think he's the highest among HBCU. I'm pretty sure Eddie George makes more, but in the grand scheme of things, I understand it, man. Norfolk State's getting a different type of publicity than they would get otherwise because of the signing of Vic. Like, they talked about it multiple weeks on Fox Sports. So I don't have a problem with what they decided to pay. And I think they can make that back. Like, I see there's a preview of the jersey of the Norfolk State jerseys. If that's something that goes towards the program, the 7 Vic jerseys, if that's something that goes towards the program, they're not gonna have a problem finding the money. And Norfolk State ain't broke. They got the money to pay for these coaches, so I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah, I think Norfolk State people, they can count beans, and I mean it's gonna work. He's gonna put butts in the seat.
Mm-hmm.
And sell advertising space. So this is probably a deal for Norfolk State.
Mm-hmm. It's a steal.
Yeah. Only thing my only concern about watching that whole thing unfold are like some of his assistants, and that matters. Yeah, some of those dudes, man. I was like, hey, we'll see, because it matters. Like, you can't just, that's one thing that we see in the CAA, man. Those coaches. I mean, even in MEAC, you got to have some.
You got to have some good coaches. Yeah, you got to have some good coaches. Like, there's some good coaches in the MEAC as well. So yeah, he's gonna have to coach. Like, I think he's gonna be able to bring the talent in. I think because of who he is.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have to coach him up. We've seen that if you can bring all the talent in the world, but if you ain't got the coaching chops, it's not gonna matter in the grand scheme of things. And we got a third person coming into the fray. Mr. King, how you doing, sir?
Yeah,
what's going on, good brothers?
How you doing, man?
The babies let you free.
He in Taekwondo right now. I mean, he's busy.
Oh, okay.
He's dealing with other stuff.
He getting kicked in the head or kicking in the head, one of the two.
That's why I'm here. Junior's getting ready for a competition on the weekend, so we here fine tuning some things.
Nothing wrong with that, man. Hope he kills it. Hope he kills it at the competition.
Hey Dave, I saw something, man. I saw there was our athletic director had a show this afternoon. I was watching it, and he was talking about something interesting and how there's that settlement coming down. So basically, all of the colleges are going to decide how they want to pay the athletes. So it's not going to be necessarily NIL. It's going to be straight up payments. So each league is going to decide, roughly how much they can afford to pay. So, maybe the CAA has to add $2 million per, I'm just throwing a figure out there to pay the athletes. So that's going to be something interesting to watch. It's going to be something that like further separates folks from each other. Like if CAA has a budget of $5 million and ACC has a budget of $25 million, like all that is really going to change the landscape. And for people that can't pay or don't want to pay, they may have to consider some other options,
or they just decide, all right, I'm not going to pay my kids this. I'm going to still compete in this conference, though.
Well, how are you going to compete?
Well, it's kind of like right now when you look at some conferences and when you look at like athletic budgets as a whole, right? When you start looking at like what athletic budgets are for every institution, some of them gaps are legitimately wide.
Very wide. But what about those funds weren't going to the athletes.
No, but
So
that's the point though, right? So like, let's say the CAA, and this is hypothetical, right? Because I have no idea what the CAA is going to do, or the MEAC or the SWAC. But let's say the CAA says, all right, we're going to implement like a $2 million cap. Because I think Division One, I think they're trying to put the cap at 25 at FBS, $25 million, I believe, for everybody. So let's say you set a cap for $2 million in the CAA. So that you can decide whether or not, it's kind of like NFL. You can decide if you want to use all the money or not. Or the NBA, like they have a salary cap. Some teams go over the cap. Some teams go right at it. And some teams don't even bother because they know who they are. They're the Globetrotters of their league. So they don't even bother. They just decide, we just we're gonna bring some bodies out here and play. So I think because like everybody's gap is different, everybody's got different priorities. Because I could see a scenario, because I believe the $25 million is for all the sports, not just football and basketball, right? It's for all the sports. And if the CAA does a $2 million cap, it's going to be fascinating because in basketball, it'll be so much different because there's a lot of basketball. There's a lot of programs that don't play football that are mainstay in the conference in the CAA, so they can invest more in their basketball, like College of Charleston, for example.
Yeah.
So like they already pay their coaches way more. It's going to be fascinating how they're going to do this.
Yeah. Like the Power 4 or 5, whatever they call themselves now. One of the athletic directors said their Olympic sports are going to have D1 facilities with a D3 experience going forward, because most of these schools are deciding to spend that money on football. So like you said, they can spend it however they want. So I'm going to spend that 24.5 on football, and the rest of y'all, good luck.
Yeah, not 75 to 80% of that money is going to go to football and basketball, man.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Now it's a matter of whether or not the women basketball players are going to get a cut of that, which they should. I think
depends on the school, right? Maybe like South Carolina, they're gonna pay. They invest in their basketball, but if you UVA, you're gonna pay. Where's your money gonna go? Fascinating. I just want I was gonna trickle down to us. That's
yeah, but it all depends on how fast it's gonna go. I think it's gonna trickle down to like the whole VC, Big South, and the CAA much quicker. But I think it's interesting because I think about some of the players that we like. We lost players in track because of NIL, man.
That's my on
like
our podcast.
We
can talk about that if we got time. That's my next big rant. I have some real strong opinions on that whole thing now. Maybe we can save it for later. NIL, transfer portal, all that stuff.
Well, here's the kicker. Because now the schools can pay the players the student athletes directly. I'm just gonna call players at this point because it's starting the student athlete thing is getting greater than ever at this point. But I think you could now that the schools can do it, a lot of NL collectives are gonna belly up because of it, because now they're gonna figure it out with the schools. Because like even A&T has the collectives. I'm wondering what the path is gonna be now that the schools can pay. Any thoughts, Brandon? I know we just dropped like a lot of.
No, I think this development is going to be rather interesting, because just like Tariq said, I think it does have the potentiality of really separating the haves, not only the haves from the have-nots, but then unless mandated, it's like you're going to find out where schools really value sports because where they're putting the money towards. So you're going to be able to see very quickly which schools value, football, basketball, or track, or whatever the case may be, and which schools do not. And that obviously will have an effect on recruiting, because if you're looking at a school, I'm a football player and I'm looking at a school, if they're not taking it as seriously, am I going to be as inclined to go there? As opposed to other schools who are obviously and demonstrably putting the resources toward those particular sports. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to shake out, and then how that's going to kind of determine who's going to go where, and where players, either be it coming out of the portal, coming out of the JUCO ranks, or coming out of, the high schools, ultimately where they're going to decide to go.
Yeah, that's the other, I mean, maybe, I want to talk a little bit of basketball. It's funny, we were talking about track, but I want to talk about basketball but I do want to have some more in this NIL discussion. So like after this break, let's get into some basketball, and then after that we'll have some NIL discussion, because I think that's a good topic that we definitely need to tackle, and I think that's a pretty good thing to go. So let's go and take our first commercial break.
Yep.
We'll be right back. This is Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab.
This is Ryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Looking for the ultimate cultural experience of 2025? The Zora Outdoor Festival of the Arts is where you need to be. From January 31st to February 2nd, Eatonville, Florida will come alive with incredible live performances from the Levert Experience and the Bar Cave. Immerse yourself in interactive art. Shop from over 80 vendors. Take a journey through history with a new virtual tour app. And enjoy family-friendly STEM activities. Plus, don't miss the unforgettable R&B tribute to the legends, honoring talents such as Whitney Houston, Marvin Gaye, and Luther Vandross. This is more than a festival. It's a celebration of Eatonville's rich cultural heritage. Visit zorafestival.org for tickets.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KeaversVoice.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonia from She Say Sports. Make sure to check us out every Friday morning at 9 a.m. on Black College Sports Network, YouTube, and Linktree. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want to lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome back to episode 613 of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. All right, man. Men's basketball. We'll start there with the Independents, man. And I can speak for A&T, but I know it has not gone well for Aguilar on the men's side of the ball. We still are waiting. We're still trying to get our first conference win, and now I'm worried. I'm concerned. I'm concerned.
What's the problem?
Oh, I mean, we got guards. Like, we have two guards. We're like one of the only teams in the nation that have two guards averaging over 18 points a game. But in Ryan Forrest and Landon Glasper. But the big problem is, man, we don't have bigs, and that's killing us. And I think our shot selection has not been what it wanted to be, where it needed to be. We lost to William & Mary, who's right now top in the conference by 3 points on a buzzer beater in our last game. And the kicker was we only shot 50% from the free throw line. Really good game. But like, we had our opportunities to win that game, and we're talking about taking down the top team in the conference at their house. So it was a tough loss, to say the least. And you leave their best shooter wide open, and he got it in. Almost a half court shot. He hit it from the logo. Phenomenal shot. Yeah, it was a phenomenal shot. It was a little over half court, but it was a phenomenal shot. He was still on the William & Mary logo when he hit it. So it was a really good shot, and it made everything. Of course, it made the CAA Twitter handle, basketball Twitter handle, but it also made March Madness. So we made it, So not the way you want to make it, but you made it.
Right. Hey, I do see that all of your conference games have been within 10 points.
It has. Yeah.
Moral victories.
I mean, no, they're competitive. Let me be clear. Yeah. They're competitive. It's just we had those games were all within 10 points, but this was one we legitimately could have had. Like, I don't think after the first half against you guys, we weren't gonna beat you guys, right? And that's pretty much the trend. Like, we were always playing from behind, but I think I know, because I watched the game, really good game. against William and Mary, we looked like we could compete with those guys, and we had our opportunities to win that game, and we just free throws, bad shot selection, just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, man. Looking at your record, it's like Hampton and A&T have swapped. Like we're supposed to have your record, and you're supposed to have ours from the preseason.
Yeah, I know. And the thing is, it's funny. I was having a debate with some other Aggies earlier today, and I said, there's a legitimate concern that we might not win a conference game if we don't know how to close out these games. Like, and I'm not ready to go fully there yet, but we're pretty much a quarter in the conference schedule right now. So, I mean, there's some really good teams in the CAA, really good teams. Yeah. So like it's we've already played a couple of them, like William and Mary and Elon. So we've already played a few of them. So it's gonna be fascinating to see how this goes on the schedule. I'm going, like, it's funny, we're playing Northeastern in a couple weeks. I'm gonna be in Boston for those games when we play Northeastern. So it should be fascinating to see how that goes.
Huskies. The Huskies, right?
Yeah, the Huskies. Yeah, the Huskies. All right. Who's next on the men's side? Hampton, you wanna roll with it, Reek?
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, we're actually looking pretty good. I mean, we are over 500. I mean, somebody getting beat up back there.
No, he's getting tuned up. Getting tuned up, man.
Somebody taking some body blows back there. Let's see. No, we're doing pretty good, man. We are over 500. We played Elon recently. I was at that game. We had a chance to win that one, but we fell apart. But the best win we had to win, we just beat Delaware. It wasn't a fluke. And Delaware's a good team. And then coach all the other games have been close except Charleston. That kind of got away at the end. He's saying the team has been sick. So they've had the flu. So I think if we were healthy, we could have won that Campbell over Elon game. I think the thing that helped the Pirates is everyone was skeptical of their bigs because they're all young, except for this guy named Long from Canisius, some college up in Northern. Otherwise, we got a nice freshman from right out of Greensboro. We got another freshman from out of Chicago. It's already worried. That's why I want to talk about this portal, man. So those guys have stepped up along with our guards. So we're pretty good. Nobody was expecting this. So they're fun to watch. And Mullen is finally starting to round into shape, playing the way that this coach wants him to play. So we're looking good. It's fun to watch.
All right, Brandon. What about Tennessee State, my man? I know you guys got a conference win. I saw that. How's
Finally.
It's been a while.
Again, it's really kind of what I talked about last week. Like I said, you get a win over Western Illinois, whatever. So now you're 2-4 in conference. You're 6-11 overall. But when you look at just some of these games again, they just did not put together what I would call anything close to a complete 40 minutes of basketball. And you can tell when you look at some of these games, and it's somewhat similar to y'all at A&T, when you look at some of these losses, these close losses that they've had, within that 2 to 8, 10-point ratio, and you look at there's a play here, you give up an offensive rebound here, and there it's those little things, those plays that haven't been made, and you stack those over the course of 40 minutes, and it ends up, coming back to bite you in the backside. So again, I'm not super ready necessarily to hit the panic button, but I'm just kind of resigned to myself that, as far as that preseason ranking where we were, it ain't happening. At this point, I'm like, let's just try to get in the top 8 so we can even make the conference tournament, because
so only 8 teams make the tournament in the OVC.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Wild Wild West in the CAA. All 14 go. All 14 goes.
So I'm like, look, let's just get there. Let's try to stack together some wins, and try to position ourselves, for that time of year. But it's still a little shaky on the men's side. I mean, the women's, like I said, they still got a long way to go.
We can transition to the women because we got to talk about the ladies too. So
yeah,
I can start off with that. Our ladies aren't looking too good. The offense, just offense, man. They can't. They got one person who can reliably get buckets. The name just escapes me. Her name. I always remember. But other than that, once she goes to the bench or she cools down, then we just have long scoring droughts, and then that's it. And then other teams like transition, like our bigs kind of slow, man, getting down the court. So, teams kind of get us in transition too. So I think it's just some schematic folks. We just need some better players.
Yeah, it's the first year, man, with the new coach. So I kind of, it's gonna take a little bit of time. I hope, and it's the same for Tennessee State as well, right? So I hope both of your ADs are gonna give that patience that those coaches are gonna need.
She's good. She's solid. Yeah. Yeah, Hampton's coach, she's solid. Augustine, she's solid. Everybody realize it's gonna take some time.
Yeah, the lady. Go ahead, Brandon.
I think we're kind of on the same situation from that standpoint. Like I said, first year coach and everything. Granted, 4-12, you're still looking for your first win in the conference. And the thing that I've noticed, look, since we like data points, I want to this up over the last two games, because one of the issues is that they get off to slow starts, but they are shooting the basketball horrendously. So against Western Illinois, they started off the game, they were 4-14 in the first quarter, excuse me. So the issue is they're getting off to these slow starts, and then you're spending the entirety of the game trying to play uphill. You shoot sub 40% in this game. Then you chase that by shooting. So I think they were 29% in the subsequent game. I want to say
that's from the whole field. That's not from three, but 29% from
29 from the floor and 23 from the three.
Oh man.
So when you're shooting the basketball that poorly, and you're already starting off the first quarter now 10, 12 points, and you're not generating enough offense to catch up, and your defense is not substantial enough to try to narrow that gap, it's like you're digging your grave on two different sides. So as a whole, they've not really shot the basketball very well on the season at all. And so that's really, kind of putting them behind the eight ball in terms of a lot of these games. And every league is a make or miss league, and if you're not making shots, you're not doing yourselves any sorts of favors. So I don't know. They do sometimes put up more threes than I would like. I'm of the I'm old school. I know analytics tells you to keep jacking up threes because three is worth more than two. But if it's not working from the perimeter, you got to get inside more, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, at any rate, we're not shooting the basketball well, and that's something that's tough to overcome. So that contributes to the predicament that we're in. But it's a first year, and I'm not ready to hit the panic button yet.
No, you shouldn't yet.
Not
so
even
the lady,
close.
the Lady Aggies, they're on a 6-game winning streak right now. They're 4-0 in conference. First 5 games during the streak, they didn't give up 50 points. They gave up 50 points for the first time in conference play against Townsend, and they won in a nail biter, to say the least. I mean, that had me almost had a heart attack watching that game against Townsend, man. But it ended the same way we played Townsend last year, with Shania Clark hitting the 3-pointer near the end of the game to close it out, to take the lead and close it out. So, and for our center to just go out there and chuck a three, it always knocks the opponents off when that happens, because she can hit them. So, but the bottom line is the Lady Aggies have been very good defensively. We've had a lot of single point quarters in the fourth during this streak. They've done an outstanding job locking down in the fourth. So typically now when I watch them play, if they're within like 4 or 5 points, I'm not too concerned going into the fourth quarter because they tend to lock it down in the fourth quarter.
Are they big?
No, they just some of them are like Shania Clark is big, but like they just play outstanding defense. Like Malia Bracone, Jordan Dorsey, they just play outstanding defense. They just lock up their defense. Like Malia Bracone is the best defender we have. She locks down their best player. So it's going to be fascinating when we go because I think this weekend we have Drexel, and I think we have. Let me pull up the schedule real fast. I know we got Drexel and Stony Brook. Stony Brook's going to be fascinating. They just I used to last year I called them the Gonzalez sisters, but one of the Gonzalez sisters graduated. But they have another Gonzalez that dropped 37 points over the weekend. So she can play. She gave us fits during the CAA tournament last year too. So so I think a lot of folks, because Stony Brook lost their coach moved on to Tulane, and there was and I felt like the preseason rankings did them a disservice. They still had a lot of talent on their roster, and they are showing it. They're second place in the conference right now, and they knocked down the team that was undefeated in the conference, and one of the teams that were undefeated in the conference the previous week. And now A&T is alone first place by themselves for now. So it'll be fascinating to see how this weekend goes. So they got Drexel on Friday on the 17th at 7 p.m. and they got Stony Brook on Sunday, both in Greensboro. So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Thanks.
Club Corbett should be rocking for both of those games. Got both men's games are in Greensboro as well. I think we got y'all on CBS on Monday, man. We'll have something to talk about. Maybe we can finally get a conference win.
Oh, is that us? Yeah.
Yeah, we got y'all on CBS Sports Network on Monday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we play Monday night.
But I'm just glad somebody program is winning something.
Hey, y'all have football, man.
Yeah, y'all got football. Y'all got us. So y'all got us first. I'm planning on heading down to Nashville for that one on August 30th for the John Mayer Classic. So
I will be there.
yeah, I'm pulling up. I'm definitely pulling up. I'm not staying in downtown Nashville though. Y'all price is too high. I'm staying in Gillisville.
Now that John Mayer tax is a real thing.
Really? Yeah, I'm in Goodlettsville. I'm staying in Goodlettsville. I got a hotel in Goodlettsville. I think it's like 10, 15 minutes out. I'm fine with that.
You just head on down 65. Yeah, I know where you are.
Yeah. Nah. I'll be downtown with y'all, but because I know the Aggies are already trying to do. They got some events they're trying to line up for that weekend, so I'm working to try to figure out what those details are as we go. But all right. The Dr. Cavil came out with his top 5. He had on the men's side, he has the Hampton Pirates at number 2.
I can see that. Yeah, they're solid.
He has it at number 2. On the women's side, he has the Aggies at number 3. Now I feel a kind of a way like that. Like I understand we're not going to be ahead of Norfolk, but I think we could beat Howard. I really do. I honestly think we're better than Howard. But now Norfolk on the women's side is far and away the best team in HBCU basketball.
Yep.
Far and away. They should get a 12 seed. I think right now bracketology has Norfolk as a 13 seed. And they have A&T right now as a 16 seed going up against Jackson State. But I think once we start winning some more conference games, that seed for A&T will go up a little bit, probably up to a 15 seed, maybe 14. We'll see. Because it's about the net too, and our net is not nearly as high as what Charleston's was. Charleston's net was pretty high. Charleston was a top 100 net until they lost to Stony Brook. So, but all right, guys. After we're gonna take the next break, and after the break, we're gonna go ahead and have some discussions about NIL, the transfer portal, how ugly it's gonna get. What are the things we should start thinking about from that aspect? Because this is pretty much changing the landscape. I know that's typically a focus on football, but there's also on other sports as well. So we will be right back after this break.
I don't really care which one.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app. As we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. with me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down. It's like a loop machine.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Looking for the ultimate cultural experience of 2025? The Zora Outdoor Festival of the Arts is where you need to be. From January 31st to February 2nd, Eatonville, Florida will come alive with incredible live performances from the Levert Experience and the Bar Cave. Immerse yourself in interactive art. Shop from over 80 vendors. Take a journey through history with a new virtual tour app. And enjoy family-friendly STEM activities. Plus, don't miss the unforgettable R&B tribute to the legends, honoring talents such as Whitney Houston, Marvin Gaye, and Luther Vandross. This is more than a festival. It's a celebration of Eatonville's rich cultural heritage. Visit zorafestival.org for tickets.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome back to Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, episode 613. Gentlemen, so now we're gonna have this discussion about NA. I want Reek to take the lead here because I'm kind of fascinated to see what his thoughts are.
Yeah, so right, there's two issues right there, right? NIL and the portal. So I am perfectly fine with the NIL situation. I'm speaking as a fan, so fan perspective. So people getting paid what the market will pay them, I am fully on board with that situation. I think that's pretty good. Long time coming. What I don't like is the transfer portal, and I don't think it does the schools a service, the fans a service, or the players. And I'm thinking just selfishly from a fan. I mean, I know A&T a couple years, y'all lost some pretty good prospects to Virginia Tech or whatever, guys that could contribute. So Hampton's in a similar situation. Like the football team was making some strides this year. Man, a whole lot of guys are leaving in the portal, which it is their right to do that. But from a fan perspective, I don't like it. Like I feel a little bit selfish about that. Like I wish guys would commit more to the institution, especially for the Hamptons mission, what Hampton's trying to do, what A&T's trying to do, what Tennessee State is trying to do. And I just wish that meant a little bit more. So I wish that, we could, I think contracts are coming because everybody needs a little bit more stability. 2-year minimum contracts to keep guys around so you can build a program, build some camaraderie, build a relationship with the fans, and then get paid at the same time. But I just as I see guys start to fly out the door, go to the portal, I don't like it as a fan. It's almost enough to say I'm not really going to get invested in these things as much because it's going to change so rapidly. And then that's my concern for the basketball team now. Hampton's been recruiting their butts off since they've been in the CAA. We can't keep nobody. And that's my worry about basketball as well. So you're gonna have to start all over again if people start sniffing around the program. From the players' perspective, some of those guys, I've just been tracking them, like it don't really work out. For some guys, it works out, but for most of those guys, half of them don't get a home, and the ones that get a home, they end up playing less and contributing less. So it's like I don't know who's really working for. You could build your roster up again, but from watching it, I don't like to watch it. I just wish there was a little more stability, so you can have some idea about what your team is going to look like.
Yeah, it's a fascinating situation because like you said, man, I'm with you, man. I'm an advocate of the players getting paid. Like I'm team players get paid, right? But at the same time, you're gonna have to start having that debate on what's more important, and you have to decide how you want to operate when it comes to athletics, because I don't think it's gonna get any cheaper for anybody. But I do have a take that I know a lot of folks might not agree with. I don't think freshmen should be getting NIL deals. Like, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I don't think somebody fresh out of high school should be out here getting a deal yet. I think you got to have at least 1 year in the field, 1 year playing before we start having NIL discussions. I know that's not the case. I know that. But I just feel like that's an inherent risk that you're bringing to the institution, not just for an HBCU, but in general. Like you're out here paying all these kids. Some of them are 17 years old. You don't know what they're going to translate to when they get into college. You have no idea.
You see that they're getting it in high school now.
Yeah, that's what I
They're
was just
getting
about
it in
to
high
say.
school.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah, what's the dude that he just had a little murder situation? What's the dude last year? Mikey Williams, the high school dude?
Oh yeah.
He had multiple ones. So like
His mommy was a pirate too. We was hoping he would come to Hampton.
I thought he was going to end up at the school down
Dreams.
the road, but I wasn't that disappointed when he decided to go elsewhere.
Yeah, that was like.
Shoot, they getting them before they get their driver's licenses now.
Yeah. I'm just hoping for contracts. So you can, hey, you come to Hampton or you come to A&T, it's a 2-year
I'll
deal.
say this. Look, I'll make it a clean sweep because I agree. I'm pro player, get your money, and I've been like this since the 90s. Since they was since they suspended Yinkadare for getting $10 from his tribesman when he went home. I've been pro player since then. But like I said, it does have to be some sort of happy medium because you see it even on the best of teams. There's so much turnover from year to year. As a fan, like I said, it's hard to get kind of invested in it. And when we look at college basketball from years past, one of the things that made it enjoyable because you could associate a player with a school, and that made following them from freshman to sophomore to junior, because we know people stayed in school longer back then. As a fan, it made that ride of following that particular player in the midst of that school more enjoyable. But now it's a year-to-year thing, and like I said, I'm concerned there has to be a happy medium because you don't want, while you want these kids to be able to share in the financial juggernaut they have helped to create, that they're largely responsible for. The concern for me is that college athletics is going to turn into a mercenary environment.
It's already there.
It's called the pros. I wouldn't call it a mercenary. I call it the pros.
But
Like,
the pros have contracts, right? So you can't just bounce. Like here, like we got dudes that'll stand for one semester and out. So that I think that has to be fixed from the sports perspective. It's hard to even do that if you're just a regular undergrad student, right? To have any continuity.
I'm a trick. You know what the best common medium, and I can't believe I'm saying this because I never was a fan of how this corporation handles certain things. Because I'm a big wrestling fan, so they're gonna have to do it like the WWE does it, man. Everybody's independent contractors, and they all get contracts. They can't go anywhere because there's because a lot of folks don't realize it's like the WWE. All the wrestlers, they're not employees of the company. They're independent contractors. That just so happen they can't go nowhere else. Like they can only do house shows, pay-per-views, matches. They can only do that there. And I think that's where college sports is going to end up, man. They're going to be a bunch of independent contractors. They can't go nowhere for a certain period of time. I mean,
this is however they figure it out, it's going to be some kind of contracts. Like,
but
you're going to say, unless you're like a superstar, right? But there has to be some minimum to say, you got a 2-year deal. Now the thing is, though, the Supreme Court was for as much of a joke as they've been on pretty much everything on this issue. They said there can't be any restrictions. They got to treat you just like me or you. Like if you want to job hop every 6 months, you could do it.
But then at that point, and if I was in NCAA, I would kind of lean towards this. that point, somebody got to call the WWE to carpet. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you because I mean, like you got to call them the carpet if that's the case, because that case they should be able to do that in WWE as well. No, these are grown adults out here doing what they got to do. They can't go nowhere. So
Is there any competition? Like at least here, there's 100 some odd Division I, big time schools.
They got competition, domestic and globally. They got competition. That ain't the
So
problem.
they can't go play. They got like a non-compete and stuff like that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep. You just got to put in the contract. Now that being said, and I think a lot of folks are expecting Congress to fix this, and I regret to inform you that I think the only way Congress is going to get involved, and shout out to Tandia from HBCU Nightly. The only way Congress is going to get involved is when the Olympic sports get impacted and they're not winning them gold medals anymore. And that's going to be a while. We're talking a while. Like, I don't think Congress is going to just up and try to fix this right now. That's just my opinion on the matter. So I think the expectation to have a body that can't get a budget done in time to do this is hilarity to me.
Yeah.
I think they got other priorities to worry about what's going on with college athletics. Especially since they want to leave it to the states, which makes it a bigger problem in itself. Because every state got their own rules when it comes to how they want to handle certain things, and so it becomes it's a mess quick. And now it's the Wild Wild West, and I think it's going to be the Wild Wild West for an extended period of time because NCAA keeps losing these cases. Losing these cases in court, so it's going to be like you saw the thing with the JUCO where it doesn't count towards their eligibility. Like that's going to pretty much destroy. It's going to damage how high school players get recruited, because nowadays more coaches ain't even looking at them anymore. They're trying to get the JUCO folks, trying to get the folks that have some collegiate experience, because of the microwave culture that we currently have in sports. There's an expectation to win now.
Yeah,
and so there's no patience in the fan base.
Yeah, they said that JUCO thing's really going to change things up because the top prospects, it was just going over the years of like where they went. Like some of the top guys like Cam Newton, they went to JUCOs.
Well,
so
he ended up there for other reasons, but
right. I mean, some of those guys still will be there, right? But then for that 1 year, so go there, get your mind right, get your body right, go to JUCO, and then that 1 year, I'm gonna say, all right, Auburn, I'm be like that DJ the guys going to BYU. I want $6 million to come from 1 year. So that's going to be the new model for a lot of these guys. So this is going to be a crazy situation. But I would like some continuity as a fan. Like however they do it, however they can still pay the guys, but just have some continuity.
So for me, and I know Brandon got to jump in. Brandon needs to jump in as well.
Yeah.
But for me, the big thing that I'm paying attention to, because for those who don't know, I cover the Carolina Panthers on a separate show. For me, that's fascinating to me is what is the league going to, like the NFL is going to do from the standpoint of how much these kids are getting this money. For a lot of them, it doesn't make sense to go declare to the draft because they're not going to make as much.
Already happening. Yep.
They're already like, yeah, I'm going to stay another year and get this money, and then I'll go to the draft, because right now the rookie salary cap is the rookie cap. It's less than what some of these kids are making, especially if you don't know if you're going to be a number 1 overall pick. Mm-hmm. So your thoughts, Brandon?
Yeah, it's like, what was it? Deion Sanders, that old joke, you take a pay cut leaving college to go to the league. It's becoming,
right.
It's becoming a real thing now. But, just the whole, and it's already been articulated so well by you two brothers, but the NIL has changed college sports forever, and for better or worse, I don't know, barring like said some sort of outside stipulations or whatever. I think the days of guys spending, this is even sad to say, 2 years consecutive at an institution may already be over. Because, like I said earlier, we see, and it doesn't matter, whether, from D2 to Division I, these guys, and they have the ability now to just leave. And it's not even a situation to where necessarily the program may stink. It may be you can, maybe get a little more over here than what you may be getting, or you're not getting anything where you are, you can go over here. Because I saw, what was it? I can't remember what game I was watching, but I think the guy was getting 20, 30,000. I want to say it might have been a month, and the guy wasn't even playing. So when you have that type of, financial incentive, the what used to be the motivation was to get butt off bench to play, to then maybe have a chance to I can't talk, display your skills, to go to the league to make money. Well, that's happening already. So I think it potentially, there's that, like I said, these guys may be demotivated necessarily to go to the league. If you're looking at it from a football and even now from a basketball perspective, because of the amounts of money that these guys can generate in school, whether you're going from place to place. So I just look at it like I don't want to look at necessarily the past through rose-colored glasses, but this is the landscape that we've got now. And I don't know, they may have to go back to putting they better still put the names on the back of the jersey so we know who players are from year to year, and in some cases game to game.
Oh no, that's happened. What's the player at some big school basketball? He said, "I ain't playing no more," because the coach yelled at him. He said, "I'm paying you too much money not to hit that shot." And so the guy.
But you know what? And you know what the wild thing is? The coach is right.
Right.
I know folks are probably sensitive about how he said it, but the coach is right. Like now, it's different now that you're paying these student athletes now. There's different expectations. It's a different type of attention, and you got to decide if that's what you want. I remember, I'm a hip hop head too, and I met Fonte, and I had a conversation with Fonte about when he did the song with Kanye West. And one of the things he said about when he did, and this is before Kanye West became, like, before College Dropout, right? And one of the things he said was, I don't ever want to be that famous. Like, I would never want to be that famous. There's too many freedoms that I'm not willing to give up. I could pay my bills still doing what I enjoy, but I never want to be that famous. And you see what Kanye is now. Like, he's got all the money, but he can't really do anything. You're a prisoner of your own self. So when you get all that money, when you get all that money, this is what you do. The perspective changes, because for them that's considered life-changing money.
You're captured.
So the perspective changes now that you're paying these players. There's different expectations, and there's different things you're going to get. There's different level of attention that you're going to get now than you got before. Travis hadn't won the Heisman. He didn't really get to enjoy it.
Right. That's true.
That is wild to me.
To getting that real criticism, because now, and so you basically on par, whereas you'd be like, all right, if there's some criticism, you got to kind of temper it. Because, these young men are still amateurs. It's not like these guys are pros. But now, like I said, they're getting paid like pros.
They're getting paid like pros.
We got to criticize you in certain aspects the same way we would a professional athlete, because for all intents and purposes,
you are.
Yeah, we gotta start calling y'all out.
And the thing is saying, oh, he's a kid?
No.
Not anymore.
And
you weren't a kid before, to be clear. You were an adult at this point. There's a couple 17-year-olds walking around there, but odds are pretty high. You already an adult.
Yeah.
Can't say just a kid no more when you're getting paid that money.
I heard somebody ask, this is a question I would ask you guys. If you're 19 years old, you're at, Delaware, A&T, playing well, you get minutes, you're enjoying the school. How much money does it take for you to move? Is it 20 grand? Pre-tax now? Like, what's the magic number? Because we all, maybe with the wisdom and age, you know how quickly that money goes. But as a young person, you don't really
idea.
But how much, is that worth your happiness? Because I think a lot of guys find that out too. Is 20 grand, 30 grand, 40? What's the number?
Yeah, because I will say this. We have players that are on the A&T basketball roster right now that went into the portal. They ended up deciding to come back, but we had to get them back.
Yeah.
Like the NIL A&T started on the basketball side before it started on football.
Oh, I heard. Yeah, Hampton writing checks.
Yeah. And then let me be clear. It ain't just the men either.
Oh no, man.
It's the women too.
D2 HBCUs are writing checks.
Mhm. It's the women too. So we gotta take all those things to account. All right, this was great, guys. This is a great episode. I gotta close out the show. I want to get out on time. I mean, the ONG strike zone's up next, so I want to go ahead and get out in time. So thank you for listening to Inside HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. My name is David L. Rhodes. We got Tariq Wilson and Brandon King coming from Inside the Lab. We hope you enjoyed the show. Again, we want to thank you for listening to Dr. Cavil's Inside HBCU Sports Lab, the Indy Report, and check out Dr. Cavil and Mike Washington, Charles Bishop every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we look forward to next week as we discuss the latest news in the lab. Make sure you follow us. Well, follow me on Twitter at ChampD1012 and go to HGPirateShip.com for Big Reek and check out Brandon King at SneakerShopTalk.com. Remember to dream big and continue to move forward. We'll talk to you guys soon. Reek.
Of course.
Brandon.
Lecture.
Dismiss. See y'all next week, guys.